Hello, everyone, and welcome to Usapang Kahusayan. My name is Yona Signer, and I'm the founder of Empowered Virtual Services. And today, Usapang Kahusayan, where we discuss topics about various challenges, habits, and attributes that limit us to be the best that we can be, whether it's in our personal or professional lives. Now, we highlight these points that some people may consider as taboo or turn a blind eye to. Or sometimes they don't even realize that it's happening right under their noses. Now, through this show, we are opening doors for people to realize that just because other people do it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. And it's also just because we've been doing it for a long time doesn't mean, we should continue it as well. We're trying to create a safe space for us to be able to discuss these topics. Now, there are times where, and I think we can all feel it, that we have to go beyond what's normal or acceptable to do and sprinkle that bit of excellence in the things that we say and do, whether it's at home, work, or within our community. Now, before I go any further, I'd like to welcome my co-host, Martine De Luna, a wife, a mum, and a coaching-informed consultant who helps other women create hard services, offers, and personal brand clicks without losing one's head and health. Welcome, Martine. Hello.
Hi, Yona. Hi, everybody.
Yes.
It's that time of the month again.
Yes. And for today's Excellence Talk, Martine and I will be discussing a topic that impacts every one of us. I don't know if people realize this, but it does impact all of us. It's about, having that self-confidence, that trust and acceptance in oneself, which has flown on, it's got flow-on effects on relationships, our work, our aspirations, our goals, and of course, everyday life. So today we're going to be talking about four tips to creating a powerful self-confidence. Is that right, Martine?
Yes, absolutely. And it's one of my favorite things to kind of have conversations around, because there's just so many, I'm sorry for my children in the background, work at home mom here, disclaimer. but even that, right? Oh no, kids are gonna be here. But I'm showing up. Showing up. I'm here. Let's do this. That's an example of powerful, self-confidence, believing that even if things aren't perfect, you can still show up. And that is already so huge for boosting your self-confidence.
Exactly. And I love that. And I think, we talk often about this, and it's one of those things where I think people are quick to perhaps, we'll delve into this a little bit more in detail later, but I think people are quick to assume certain things in their minds, which will then stop them from continuing to whatever it is, the task at hand, or whatever it is they need to show up for. And so I think, I'd like to, firstly understand, for you, what would be your number one tip to have that powerful self-confidence?
Well, first, I always say, we have to know what the root of the lack of confidence is first, right? So normally what we do is when somebody, a well-meaning person, says, oh, you just have to develop confidence, the first thing that we think, right? We think first, but I'm not, I'm shy, I'm introverted. And then we start with our perception of who we are. And we have to understand that the perception had a beginning. It had a root cause, right? It had a root situation. In some, some people would say it started with an experience, and we identified ourselves with that experience, and we called it lacking confidence. So an example of that is maybe you were a child and you were asked to answer in front of the whole class by your teacher. And then you gave the wrong answer. The teacher says something like, oh, no, that's not right. Sit down. Then that can come across to the child depending on what their perception of showing up is, of confidence is, that can create a story in her or him. And the story can dictate all of our future behaviors that are related with like showing up, putting your best foot forward, and sharing your opinion, sharing your thoughts, etc. So sometimes we have to, it helps, actually not sometimes, all the time, all the time, it helps to know, where did this perception that I have of myself as lacking confidence, where did that come from? Right. So that would be my tip for understanding why I say that I'm not confident, or why I think I'm not confident. Yeah.
I think, and may I add, before that though, it's also recognizing that we have that feeling about ourselves.
Yeah.
I think that's also something that's important. And I love what you just said just before, where how people will say that because they're introverted, they lack the confidence. But in actual fact, there are people who are introvert but still have the confidence.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So
yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to be an extrovert person to be able to do these things. I'm not too sure if people believe it or not, or realize, but I'm actually an introvert person.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
But we're here right now. And so
exactly.
In terms of, using it as a block or using it to not move forward, it's one of those things where, it's I know I'm pushing it a little bit, but it's also an excuse. People are using it as an excuse, right? So
yeah. It's safety. It creates that sense of, oh, this feels safe for me.
Yeah.
So I'll just keep pulling this, some people say pulling the card. I'll pull my introvert card, and then that should settle it, right? I'm an introvert, this is my red card. This is my permission to be this way. And I love the way that one of my mentors says, sometimes these personality tests, we take them, we're like, oh, I'm introverted. Okay, so great. That's my permission to stay, to not have positive steps moving forward, right? Or this is my excuse for just being at a meeting and staying silent, even if I have an opinion, because I'm introverted.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So
but that does not determine it.
No, definitely not. And I think that's one of the things that's really critical in this whole process, is the fact that we need to recognize that these are the things that we have formed in our minds. So these aren't facts, ladies and gentlemen. They're not facts. These are things that we've formed in our minds, and it's actually our own opinion. And
exactly.
So we need to recognize these things, and like what Martine say, understand where it actually has come from. Now, I know that may seem so really deep, and maybe it might be difficult for some, but really it's, if in order for us to move forward with new beliefs or new ways of doing things, you have to actually address where it's come from.
Yes,
like
exactly.
What Martine said. So how would one do that, Martine?
Right. Well, I have this favorite quote by one of my mentors, he's not a direct mentor, but I love his work, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he says this: personality dictates your personal reality. If you want to build a new personal reality, you need to shift your personality.
Interesting.
True.
Wow.
Yeah. And he is, you guys can look him up. He is a neuroscientist. So he really studies how the mind, and more importantly, the subconscious mind, dictates our personal reality. So for instance, if you think that you're sick, so I told you right before we started this live stream, I had a sore throat on Tuesday. I was like, oh my God, I have a sore throat, crappy. And I was having these thoughts. But then I remembered, and that's why I love his work, and also the work of my mentor, Bob Proctor. Your personality meaning who you believe you are, will dictate your experience. And so I said, okay, no, I am not going to get sick. So I did what I needed to do. I rested up. I detoxed. I upped my consumption of detoxifying foods, and I went off of food for a while. I went to fasting mode because that detoxifies the body. And within less than a day, my sore throat left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happened there was I was changing my personality and also changing my environment to feed the idea, to make the idea of I am well bigger and greater than the reality that was presented to me. So when we can understand that, that's what Bob Proctor, calls shifting your paradigm, the paradigm shift. So what happens when we create a paradigm shift is we start with the belief that we are already what we would like to be. So if we are creating a personality of confidence, then even before we see it externally, we create the belief first, and then the belief creates the fact. So I'm going to put that as a quote. So belief creates the fact. So that's a quote by Bob Proctor. And that's essentially what we do when we help people, shatter what we call limiting beliefs. So a limiting belief is where our current personality is, like creating experiences for us. But we want to say, I want to make $1 million. I want to manifest a piece of real estate. I would like to live in this place with these conditions. That requires embodying a whole nother person.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have to create the belief first. Yeah.
No, that's so true, because manifesting alone will not make those things happen. So manifesting alone won't result you to having that outcome that you have in mind.
Yeah.
In order to have that, what you've manifested, there's also steps that you need to take beforehand, which is action. Your action. And so you need to ensure that you put actionable steps, big or small, whatever you're able to do at that point in time. But for there, it's like you're continually growing upon that. And then eventually you will reach there. But if you continue to have those beliefs that are holding you back, it's like you stay at that area, that realm of that reality that you've created for yourself. So how people say 2 steps forward, and then sometimes we go through some challenges, which means that we have to go. Sometimes it's 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Yeah. But the thing is, we have that confidence within ourselves that even through these challenges, we're able to keep moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. So the first step to creating that shift is to believe you're already confident now, right? Yeah. And it's going to take a little bit of a battle in your mind. It's going to create a bit of discomfort but I'm introverted na nga eh.
Yeah.
So
and you've been doing it for a long time, and you've been doing it
and you've habituated it.
Yeah.
And so that's okay. That's why we say accept that I have believed this. So the first step is accepting, because when we can accept, then there's no more resistance. There's no more resistance, and we can embody or manifest that which we want to manifest physically, right? So manifestation is actually the end part of desire. I like to work with masculine and feminine dynamics, right? So the desire to be confident, the I am confident. Let's say you say that as a mantra in the morning. That is you placing your desire into manifestation, right? Manifestation, the word, it's a fancy word. A lot of people think it's about magic, but it's really just taking what is invisible into the visible. That's all it means.
Yeah.
Right. And so if our desire, you can't see desire, but you can want it, you can feel it, right? If we want to anchor that into, like a higher pay grade or a something that I can place in my LinkedIn profile, like social proof that I help, my employer create results, or I help my client create results, that has to be anchored by aligned actions. And so, can you flash that again, team? If you believe you are already confident, then doing that day by day helps you to calibrate to an actual confident person's reality.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's important. That word calibration is important because you don't just go into the gym, do one intense workout, and then have muscles. No, you need to do it for 12 weeks to build one muscle group, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So people have to realize that, okay, confidence is built through calibration. I did 1% of it today. Like, okay, today I went to the Zoom meeting with the client and I actually made a contribution, even if I felt uncomfortable, but I did it. And then the next meeting, maybe you can make 2 contributions. I don't know. It's person to person. But calibration is saying, okay, dip my toe in the water. And then the next time I'll dip my foot inside. And the next time maybe I'll go and, go to the knees until I can immerse myself in this body of water. And I'm actually embodying the person that I was originally just wishing I could be.
Yeah. So I love how you've said, dipping your toe and then dipping your feet and then up to the knees. And I think that's also a way of recalibrating. Because it's like when we talk about recalibrating, we're not talking about just like that. Overnight or even in just 1 hour, like you said, working out, it doesn't mean you're going to have if you do 100 sit-ups, it doesn't mean you're going to have a 6-pack straight away.
You're going to be sore the next day.
That's right. So it's about really those little steps. You are still embodying thinking what it is that you really want. And I'm going to be confident. I am confident. And then even in that little toe, you are 100% confident in that little toe.
Yes, exactly. That aspect of me is already there, right?
Yes.
And a great way to do this is what I call the paradigm shift exercise. Okay, so you guys can look up. You guys can look this up. It's by Bob Proctor, and maybe I can share the YouTube link. Maybe the team can share the YouTube link in the units. Okay, but this is one of the easiest, and I would say logical ways that you can practice this calibration. Okay. Because a lot of people, when they try to change a part of their personality, they expect to do it overnight. But actually, the body learns by repetition. Okay, the body learns by repetition. Can I put this in the comments? I can't put it in the comments. So team, can you put this in the comments? Because that's Bob Proctor's video on what the paradigm shift is. Okay. So you may wonder, oh my God, this is from the 80s. Is it still relevant?
Yeah. He does have that feel, doesn't it?
Right. But the thing
he's been around for a long time.
There's a reason why he's been he's the oldest coach in the world right now.
Literally.
He is 89 years old. Okay. So and he's still there because he also embodies, till the day that I die, I will be doing this work. It makes him happy. He's one of the happiest people I've ever met. Okay, but I digress. So how do you do this paradigm shift habit? Okay, so step 1, you take a paper and write down the negative or the unhelpful paradigm or reality that you are experiencing right now. Okay, that you are experiencing right now. So get a piece of paper and write that down. Okay, and why do we do this? We do this because, like Yona said earlier, we have to acknowledge it, that it's there, and then accept it.
Yeah.
Because we can't change something that we don't realize is there. Right?
Exactly.
So you take a picture and write down the negative reality that you're experiencing now and read it. And then step 2 is you burn the paper with the reality, with the current negative reality on it. And why is that? Because the mind is made up of two parts. There's a subconscious mind, and then there's a conscious mind. So the conscious mind is what we're using right now. We use it to think, to smell, the five senses, right? Taste, smell, hear, and touch. Okay, and it doesn't understand things unless you embed it with certain ideas. So when you burn the piece of paper with the negative reality, after having written it down, what the mind does is it remembers or recalls that idea is no longer staying with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is written on a paper. You wrote it down because you've taken it from the subconscious where it was.
Yeah.
Because you accepted it, you recognize it, and then you put it on the paper. And then when you burn the paper, you're telling your mind, your conscious mind, I'm letting this go. And when you do that, your subconscious mind absorbs that idea. So if you can think of the subconscious mind like a sponge, it recognizes and accepts the idea that you've let it go.
Yeah.
Right? And then what do you do after that? The next step is you take a new paper, ideally a card. So if Bob Proctor were to teach this, he would say, write it down on a card that you can laminate and put in your pocket.
Yeah.
So that each time you take it up, I used to do that, put it in my wallet because I used to go out, right? But now we don't really go out in Manila. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to write down the new reality you are embodying. Okay. That's number 3 to the paradigm shift exercise. Now, why do we do this? Because again, we're calibrating, right?
Yeah.
You are feeding the conscious mind, but through reading, through feeling the emotion of that new reality, bit by bit, day by day. And then when you go out in your day, that's on your mind. Literally, when you say it's on my mind, what does that really mean? That really means that I intentionally want to embody this thought or this idea. Yeah. And so it helps if you put it on a card that you can carry around with you. I'm a work-at-home mom, so what I do is it's on a card and it's on my bulletin board. I did this. When was the first time I did this? I started to do this in 2018 when I started my training on transformational coaching. And I can still remember the first card that I ever wrote. And it is, I am so happy and grateful that I am now a transformational coach and I am serving clients in all continents of the world, right? So that was my intention. And now I have clients from most continents in the world, clients in the States. I have a client in Australia. I have clients in Europe. And maybe I would just say Africa. The Africas are where I don't have clients. But when you believe what you are writing on that new paper, so if you guys can flash number 3 again, what you're doing there is you're calibrating your nervous system, right? To be comfortable with sending out that, joining a Facebook group of international potential clients, right? And showing up there with authority, with confidence in who you are, and then networking and really expanding your body of work with a new network. So that's a very tangible example of embodying this character of confidence.
Yeah.
Right? So those 3 steps are really what I teach clients to do if they are getting used to this idea of recalibrating into this confident person. And number 4 is to do this daily for at least 30 days. Why is that? Because your body, like I said, you don't go to the gym, one workout and you've built a muscle group. You need to do it over a period of time.
Yeah.
And so with the Bob Proctor method, the minimum is 30 days for you to embody that belief and your body to believe it, right?
Yeah.
Because the body learns through repetition. Think of how we walked as children. You had a toddler. He recently, like, probably just learned how to walk properly, right? So he would get up and then he would fall down, but he'd get up again until his little legs memorized the movement, and now he does it autonomically, like he can stand up. So it's the same with recalibrating to self-confidence. It's just like learning to walk.
Yes.
So I hope that explained how we can do this in a very simple, it's not going to be easy because your body's going to resist. It's going to be like, no, it's not real. It's not, but just do it. Just commit to it. It's very simple. After you make the card, all you really need to do is, all right, this is what I am. And you notice I don't say I'm claiming this or I will be this. No, I am this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And it's in those 30 days that you're really creating that habit. The new habit of the confident you. And so it's really about, I am confident. I am this. And so, even if we had those thoughts or limiting beliefs, as we would refer to them, even though it's in the back of your mind, you already accepted it was there, but you've also accepted the fact that you want it to be different. And so you're making changes and you're doing this practice, the 4 steps that Martine spoke about, and that this is what's going to be creating a different future. And it's something that we do for ourselves. It's not something that we're relying on somebody else to do this for us. We're relying on, X, Y, and Z. This comes from us. And it starts with us. And many of these things, the thing is, right, there are things that we have learned in the past. There's, like what Martine said, we've had some experiences that we've gone through. But if we want to make things different, and especially for those parents out there, if you want to be able to show a different future for your children, these are the things you also need to do. Recognize that it's there, try to determine where it's come from, and accepting that it is, but then also accepting the fact that, and deciding and choosing to be different and move forward from there.
Yes, exactly.
And so I think, it's whilst it sounds like a simple exercise, it is something that it will take for you to consistently show up every day for. And I think it really, this type of behavior will really make us stand out from others.
Yes, exactly.
And I think, no matter where it is, whether you are, how you are personally, professionally, I think it will really bring you forward into a different future. Actually, just to remind you, Martine, we actually went through this exercise. I don't know if you remember, but back in, what's that, 2017, I actually attended one of your workshops, like in-person workshops, when I was in Manila. And
I remember that. We were in Mandaluyong, right? Yeah.
No. Maginhawa Street in Quezon City.
Oh gosh, yeah. I remember.
So
I remember.
I was still.
That was 2019.
Yeah. No. Was it?
Yeah, it was in 2019. It was. That was like where we gave away those mindfulness jars.
Was it 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
Sure? Oh wow.
Yes, I'm sure. June 2019.
Oh wow.
Because I had a reminder pop up on Facebook of that workshop.
Oh wow. Okay. Well. Okay. So it's not as back as long ago as I thought it was. But there were so many things. Just a quick story. So there were so many things that happened that day for me. Right. Firstly, I'm living in Manila. I'm by myself. My family's with me, but I'm living there. And having grown up in Australia, it's foreign to me, even though I'm Filipino. Yeah. But I was like, you decide. Okay, do I still go? Oh my God, I'm going to be by myself. I'm not going to know anybody but my team. Yeah. I'm going to be by myself in the car, not really knowing where I'm going. I don't know how to get there and how to get back home. And so one of those things is you really decide, okay, doing this will enable me to learn new skills, will enable me to grow as a person, and will enable me to be that person I want to be moving forward. And so I had that choice. I had the choice of I'll just be comfortable at home and, just be comfortable.
That is so interesting.
Yeah. Or I just, live for that little bit of discomfort. Don't forget, right? I'm an introvert. So I'm like going to a place where I absolutely had no idea. So I was actually walking on Magunhawa because I had no idea where it was. So I was like, I was like, oh my God, I look like I was lost and stuff. But, I got there in the end. But the fact is, it's really if you want it enough. So for those who are watching, if you really want something enough, you will do what it takes to get there. And saying whatever personality it is that you are, whether you are limited in resources, whether you're limited in beliefs, you can choose to still overcome that.
Yes, exactly. It's the choosing that is key, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I always remember that day because of what I'd experienced. And
that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Exactly. And I'm so grateful for it because there are a lot of people who I met that date that I'm still friends with.
Yeah. And, that was an amazing workshop.
Yeah, that was an amazing workshop, and I really met amazing.
I missed my live workshops.
I know, me too. The funny thing is that I would actually message you before I'd go to the Philippines and go, Martine, do you have any workshops coming up? It's like,
I remember, I think that was like 2 years ago to the day, right? Well, to the month, right?
Yes.
So
exactly.
I'm like, that's how long. My last workshop was with Kimmy, October of 2019. We did what we didn't know would be our last workshop together because of all this whatever, So oh my gosh, I'm gonna start writing down something new on my card now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so happy and grateful that we are back doing live events.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh wow. Yes, exactly.
Right?
And this is the thing that I have to remind everybody, we would love to remind everybody, is that it may not be right this moment today, but we are working towards it. And so even though when we write these things down and it may not be the case right this moment, don't feel disheartened by that. Allow that to fuel you to keep making that choice. And so, I always love these conversations with you, Martine. I really hope that everybody has, learned a little bit about really, how to create that powerful self-confidence for yourself, because at the end of the day, it really is for you. But again, thank you, Martine. I think we'll have to, I have a feeling that we're going to be creating something for the empowered community very, very soon.
Definitely. It is imminent. Yes.
It is. I can feel it already.
I feel it.
I can feel it. Oh my God. So good.
Yes, I am a bit of a comedian, from time to time.
That's what about you. This is the thing. That's what I love about you. You just keep it
I'm not always serious. Yeah.
I know, exactly. Everybody was like, oh, she's so serious. No, actually, she has that really, really fun side of her as well.
We just have to get to know each other a bit.
Yes. Well, thank you again, Martine. For
always a pleasure. EVS, thank you.
We will be doing this again in the, next month.
Yes, next month.
And
looking forward to it.
Yes, thank you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Oh wow, always so much fun with Martine, and I absolutely love. It's always a pleasure speaking to her, and that is why she's actually a part of what I call my success circle, because I really, she really creates a space of allowing me to be myself and also being able to learn, even though I go through my own sets of challenges. And so, having being surrounded by people who enable you to keep growing as a person is really important. And so, you may read, and I'm sure you've heard before, that, you are you need to be surrounding yourself with people that inspire you to be better and do better. And it's so important. I truly believe that. But at the end of the day, it's not about just our technical skills or work experience. What makes us all stand out as individuals is how we present ourselves, how we put ourselves out there, and how we back ourselves. And so we need to recognize and accept where we've come from in order to move forward with a new frame of mind, truly believing in ourselves wholeheartedly. Now, before we go, I'd like to invite everyone to register for the upcoming 5-day challenge that will run from June 14 to June 18. Now, it's a challenge that would help people who are virtual professionals and those who are thinking about embarking on the virtual workspace so that you can build a successful online career, even during this pandemic. And so there's a link. So it's tinyurl.com/EVS Freedom to Learn 5D challenge. So this, again, it's from June 14 to 18, which is in line with the Philippine Independence Day, because it really is for us freedom to learn so that we can be independent. Now, this 5-day challenge will take you to the next level in building a successful virtual career. Each day, you'll get to do a specific challenge that would, make you realize that you can do it and you can make it happen and become successful virtual professional. And for those who are interested in joining the 5-day challenge, you can head on over to our Facebook page and Instagram account at Empowered Virtual Services to see more details about the challenge. Please also join our community, our empowered community, especially created for virtual professionals and aspiring ones, to get to know more about our events and anything that's upcoming for the virtual workspace. Now, another quick announcement. We'd like to also invite and calling out to all of those experienced and talented graphic designers out there. We do have a full-time graphic design position with an Australian company. So if you wish to know more about this exciting opportunity, head on over to our Facebook group as well. Follow the link, and we've already posted it on our Facebook socials. So do check it out. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. Maraming salamat to all of our viewers on Facebook and on Kuru. And we'll definitely be seeing you all again next time for another episode of Usapang Kahusayan. Thank you. Bye.